So it's really windy outside. So this weekend something happened, and woke up this morning because of what happened this weekend. I was deeply disturbed. It kind of triggered a homicidal thing in me, unfortunately. For me, I'm not one of those bottlers that bottles up emotion or anything like that. Sometimes I'll have a hard time figuring things out in the present moment where somebody will say something very abusive or harsh towards me, and I'll be so shocked that they said it. I won't. I'll just freeze. I won't really know how to react or respond. I'll just be like, whoa, I'll just, and, 2 days, 3 days later, I'll just be sitting by myself, and I'll think about what that person had said to me, where I was too shocked to respond, and I'll get very homicidal at what they said, and I'll just want to slit their throat, and I get very excited about it. Slicing their throat. Because deep down I kind of feel like all people that are abusive should just die. They shouldn't be on this planet. If you're not an abusive person, you're okay. But if you're judgmental, or if you're abusive, or if you're controlling, you have every right to be murdered or killed. Unfortunately, it's the way I view things. I think more people should view things the way I do. Maybe. Some people are like, I was just having a bad day. I don't believe in that. So it's just like, if you're having a bad day, that means everybody has to suffer because of your bad day. I would rather just slice your throat and be done with it. So this weekend, somebody was saying things, or shall I say, every time I was talking, whatever I was talking about, they would nitpick it, or they would say something harsh or something combative about what I was saying. And they did it 4 or 5 times. And there were way too many politics involved for me to just tell this person I was just going to slit their throat or just choke them out or something like that. Way too many politics involved. So I had to respond by not speaking or just not speaking. Because I didn't want to be loving. Because, like, that would have been fake. And I don't believe in being fake or fakeness at all. If you're not going to be truthful, don't play the game. But there was too many politics involved to me actually to do what I wanted to do or say what I wanted to say. So this morning I realized like why I had such an issue with this person and why they were combative with everything I said, or why they were nitpicking or being verbally abusive. And I thought about it as I was sitting on my floor this morning. And I said, A, number one, you didn't even want to go to that event. You were not in the confident, joyful place with proper self-worth or self-esteem, shall we say self-esteem, even though it doesn't exist, to go to that event. You should have just stayed the fuck home, and you knew that. You forced yourself to go because you had to go. I hate forcing myself to do or be anything. I'll go places because I'm not a functioning human. Most average people, even if they don't want to go places, they could go places and everything could work for them sometimes. But I go and terrible things happen. I become suicidal, I become homicidal, I become fearful, I have anxiety, I start to beat up on myself, I think I'm not good enough, I start comparing myself to other people. It's not worth it. I'd rather just stay at home, be by myself, look at trees, look out the window. So everything I said, by the third or fourth time this person was nitpicking or being verbally abusive towards me. I was in a truck at the time, and I had this terrible feeling within me, like I was just being verbally abused. And I felt terrible. And I didn't want to speak anymore. I was just like, just don't speak. Because when you're around a verbally abusive person that's emotionally abusive or verbally abusive, or nitpicks everything you say, or says crappy things every time you speak, or whatever the fuck it is, there's three options you have. Number one, to shy away and be bashful, not to speak anymore. Number two, you have to be perfect with everything you say. And then you start analyzing everything you're about to say, because you know if it's not perfect, or perfect for them, they'll abuse you verbally or emotionally. Or number three, you become violent, and you either want to kill them or you get into fights with them, verbal fights. Especially if you're a bottler and you've been bottling and bottling and bottling because you haven't had the strength to speak up for yourself. And then finally you explode on the person, which could even lead to you killing the person if you really don't like that person. But for me, there was too much politics involved. This person was way too close to me. And I could lose a lot by doing number three. So I just went with 1 and 2, and I don't really want to be around that person ever again. And if they do come into contact with me, or if I do have to see them again, I'll know what they're becoming, or what they've become. But you could always change. And if I'm around that person again, which I most likely will, the first time they do it to me again, I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to sit down with them, and I'm going to explain the 3 things that's going to happen in their future relationships with all humans. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. And those are the only 3 options that this person is giving the person that they're verbally abusing or emotionally abusing. And all 3 of those options are all lose-lose situations. Because what you're doing when you're verbally abusing someone or emotionally abusing someone is not coming from love. It's coming from wherever the hell it is. Conditioning, hate, or just anger within. But it's not coming from love. And whenever something's not coming from love, you're always going to make somebody feel awful. And they're always either going to be bashful and timid. They're always going to have to be perfect for you so they don't get verbally or emotionally abused. Or number 3, it's going to lead to fights. But all of those are not good. And the reason why they're not good is because the person that is doing the verbal abusive or emotional abusive things is not coming from a spot of love. And this morning I was thinking about why I'm such a perfectionist. And then I realized I've become a perfectionist because if I'm not perfect, I get abused. If I don't appear confident, I get abused. Because people that are predatory or abusers or controllers, they'll pick up on the signs that I'm not confident that day, and I'll be abused or neglected. That's why I don't leave the freaking house ever unless I'm in the right state, in the confident state. If I'm not in the right state, if I have a low self-esteem, and there's no such thing, if I don't feel confident, if I'm the 3-year-old, if I'm any of those things, I don't leave the house. I can't leave the house. Because it leads to me having suicidal depression. And then I can't sleep at night because I left the house. I'm really starting to dislike this world and this life. Because you always have to be so perfect. I feel like if you're not perfect, people won't love you. It's like, how are you going to make people's lives better for them? How are you going to make people's lives easier for them? And if you don't have the right things or the right tools, or the correct things within to make people's lives easier or better for them, they won't choose you. So the more perfect you are, the more people will love you. But if you're flawed, like us, mentally ill, complex PTSD, childhood neglect, all those things that don't make us as favorable as the rest of the average people. You'll always get passed up. You won't be selected. You won't be accepted. You'll be rejected. This world is so harsh. And no matter how loving you are, that shit don't matter anymore, does it? Everybody's caught up with consumerism. What can you do for me? What have you done for me lately? What can you give to me? Other than love and kindness and psychology. Peace. People don't care about those things. They care about them, but they want something else. They want more. They want other things. They want to feel safe. They want to be surrounded by beautiful things. They want to live inside a safe house. Safe cars that won't break down. You need money. You need to be perfect, confident, average, and you need money. And you need to be consistent. People don't like inconsistent people. They like people who are predictable. If you're not predictable, if you have ups and downs, if you go in and out, if you're bipolar, if you're borderline, if you have complex PTSD, you're pretty much screwed with that one because you're way too inconsistent, especially if you're not on meds. Man next to me, about 20 minutes ago, he started his car and I heard his radio and there was a commercial on about giving money to the mental health community, and he turned off the radio. And as soon as he turned off the radio, I said to myself, cockroaches. That's how people view us. We're not desirable. People don't want us in their homes. They don't want us around us. We're cockroaches. Unfortunately, we have to live this life where we never quite feel loved. We never quite feel accepted. And we just go through every day just trying to make it on our own. And then you get to a point as you go through it for enough years where you think to yourself, don't really want to do it anymore. Committing suicide would be so nice. I think the ants and the gecko lizard outside my window screen, they're the only things that really keep me alive. I like my ants. I like looking at them. The ants don't expect me to be perfect. The ants aren't going to love me or not love me if I don't give them anything. They just crawl around and they allow me to look at them. That's why I love them so much. I don't have to be a certain way for them. I don't have to be a certain person for my ants. I could just be here and sit. They don't judge me. They just crawl around. I like them. build a future. Enjoy your day.